You ever look at a real estate spreadsheet and just feel lost? It's like trying to read a secret code, right? All those numbers, abbreviations, it can be a lot. But what if I told you that hidden inside all that data is a really fascinating story about a community? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're cracking the code on a real estate spreadsheet to uncover the story of the housing market in two towns in upstate South Carolina. Okay, at first glance, this is, well, it's just a wall of text. It's the kind of thing that makes your eyes glaze over. But this is the real deal. This is raw data from the Multiple Listing Service, the MLS, which is basically the central nervous system for real estate agents. And I promise you, buried in here are the real stories of what it's actually like to buy or sell a home in this specific place. So that's our mission here. We're going to sift through all this noise and pull out the real story of the housing market in Inman and Campobello, South Carolina. By the end of this, you're going to have a super clear picture of what's really going on in these towns. And here's our game plan. First, we'll decode the data itself. Then we'll zoom out for a big picture look at the market. After that, we'll dive into what your money actually buys and explore some factors that go way beyond just the price tag. And finally, we'll wrap it all up in a neat little market snapshot. Sound good? Let's jump in. So all the info we're looking at today comes straight from an MLS spreadsheet. It covers all the active and recently sold single-family homes in Inman and Campobello. This is the kind of stuff I love because it's not marketing, it's not spin, it's a real behind-the-scenes look at a local housing market.
Let's start with the most basic number of all. When this data was pulled, there were exactly 167 homes for sale across these two towns. Now, that might not sound like a huge number compared to a major city, but for a smaller community, that's a pretty healthy inventory for buyers to look at.
All right, so we've got 167 homes, but what kind of homes are we talking about? To really get a feel for this market, we need to find the edges first. What's the absolute lowest price and what's the absolute highest? The answers? They might surprise you. So on one end of the spectrum, you've got the entry point. The least expensive home you can get in this entire area is listed for $130,000. This is the starting line for homeownership here. And for that price, you're probably looking at a smaller, maybe older home that could use a little love. And then you have the other end, an estate listed for almost $9 million. I mean, the difference is just staggering, isn't it? We're talking about a market that stretches all the way from a modest starter home to a sprawling luxury property with more land and amenities than most of us could even dream of. But here's where we get back to reality. Those multi-million-dollar listings, they're total outliers. This chart shows us that the vast majority of homes, almost 140 of the 167 available, are actually priced under $600,000. And the real sweet spot, where most of the action is right there in the middle, between $300K and $600K. That's likely the price that hits that perfect balance of affordability and features for the average buyer around here. But what do these numbers really mean? Like, what kind of house do you get for 130 grand versus almost 9 million? Let's make this tangible. We're going to put those two extremes right next to each other and see what they look like. Man, this comparison really tells the story, doesn't it? For $130,000, you're looking at a two-bedroom starter home, about 1,300 square feet, sitting on just over a quarter of an acre. But for $8.9 million, you get a three-bedroom home, sure, but it's a massive 7,000-plus square foot estate on nearly 95 acres of private land. It is a completely different universe. So, we've seen how dramatically the price can vary. But price is only one piece of the puzzle. Now we're going to look at two other critical factors that really define this market: how much land you get with your house, and just how fast these properties are actually selling. This chart right here, it reveals something really important about the Inman and Campobello area. So yeah, about 42% of homes are on your typical suburban-sized lot. But the majority, a combined 58%, come with more space. This tells you that this is an area where people really value having some room to breathe. It's a place where you can have a big backyard, maybe a garden, or just some extra privacy between you and your neighbors. Okay, now take a look at this number, 1,129. Any ideas what that could possibly represent in a real estate market? That's how many days a single property has been for sale. One home has been sitting on the market, just waiting for the right buyer, for over 3 years. Now, this is definitely an extreme case, but it shows us something crucial. While some parts of the market are red hot, other unique or maybe overpriced properties can take a very, very long time to sell. And if we look at the data for homes that have actually sold recently, we see the exact same thing. One property went under contract in a single day. Another one took nearly a full year, 340 days to finally sell. So there's just no simple answer to how fast do homes sell here. It totally depends on the house, the price, the condition, and its location. So, after digging through all that data, what have we actually learned? It's time to pull it all together into one final, clear snapshot of the real estate story in Inman and Campobello. This is where it all clicks. Here's the whole story in 4 key points. First, this market has an enormous price range. It truly has something for everyone, from first-time buyers to those looking for a luxury estate. Second, the heart of the market, where most homes are bought and sold, is between $300,000 and $600,000. Third, space is a huge deal here. Most properties come with generous lot sizes. And finally, we learned the market has 2 speeds. Some homes sell in a flash, while others take their time finding the perfect buyer. So we've decoded the story of these 2 towns. But this is just one example. There are stories just like this, hidden in real estate data all over the country. So the next time you're browsing listings, I want you to look beyond just the price and the pictures. See if you can start to piece together the story of your own community. You might be really surprised by what you find.